So let's have a look at budget. I'll give you a quick demo of what is coming in the platform, and then just show you the policies that we have at the moment for budget management, just so you get a clear an idea of what's going to happen. A cloud budget menu option for you, and this is going to enable you to go in and build out a budget. Okay, so you'll be able to effectively have multiple budgets defined for different use cases. You can imagine, of course, budgeting at a product level, and then that's rolling up to a department and possibly an organizational level as well. So you could say, whatever, this is engineering budget, specifying whether it's a calendar year or, in the UK, a financial year that runs April to April. So you can specify the time frame for those, and then the cost basis, right? So is this based on the amortized costs, as in any commitments that have been made are going to be spread out, or is it unamortized, and therefore the upfront payments that somebody might have made is not my problem. And then I can go and specify the dimensions that I want to set my budget by. Okay, so here I could go and set a budget by cloud vendor, right? And I would then be able to fill in for the time ranges that I've got set what my budgets might be for that. But I can start to roll these up. So I could actually say, let's not do cloud vendor. We would do by region. Okay, so my budgets are set by my CFO for each region that we operate in, and then I get really granular, and I'm setting it at a per cloud service level or something like that, right? This demo environment doesn't have RBDs and a lot of tag data included in it, but you can imagine you would do it by billing center, by any of the rule-based dimensions you built, by environment, application, cost center, and those kind of things. Yeah, and you can then whatever you set at a particular level will roll up. So if I was setting, a budget at a cloud vendor account level, it would roll up to the cloud vendor budget, right? So we're actually rolling it up to the levels as you go forward. So you'll be able to go in and I believe just then enter in the values in here. It was that you would just go in and enter the budget numbers in here, but it doesn't have the edit. This is why this is in a beta capability. The other thing that you will be able to do is import that by CSV as well. So often you're not going to want to go in, particularly if you've got 100 cost centers or whatever it might be over a 12-month period. Then that would be a lot of numbers to mash it in the UI. Your finance team will lose the will to live, and so a CSV file or something that they've prepared a budget on will be able to import into the platform. Okay. All right, here we go. So you will see then, you can edit the budget and the numbers that have been put in. You can change the time frame that you want to view. What was the budget? What has been spent over time? How much of that budget is remaining? So you've got some charts and graphs for both the cumulative and the spend on a month-by-month basis. I'll show you actually in the demo tenant in a bit more detail here. So this will be able to be used by your teams in both a centralized and a decentralized way, right? So there's no real limit to how many different budgets you would set here. I think this was for 2022. Yeah, so you get a good idea of the visualizations possible. So the capabilities that are available prior to this beta are in the catalog. So you guys can go and have a look at this now, and we'll put a slide up for the lab in a minute. But if you go and look at budget in the automation engine here, there are 3 available. They're quite similar, but one of them will do it at a cloud account level. Okay, the other one here is doing a budget on a billing center level, so you can actually go and set a billing center level budget. That's great because it's cloud vendor agnostic. Okay, so it's a budget for a billing center that contain any costs from the cloud vendor, from your software licensing, from your labor costs, from your shared cost as well. So it's again fully loaded. You can specify, of course, amortized and unamortized. But it's quite simple in that you just put a flat amount in these policies for each month. But it also includes the ability to be notified either when actual spend crosses a threshold or when forecasted spend crosses a threshold. So I could say, right, I'm going to set, a budget for engineering, and I want to know if I'm going to bust through 90% of that. The forecast for me is to bust through 90% of that. Yeah, and that would be for my engineering billing center. And I can run this, of course, on a daily basis, and it would alert me if I'm going to get to 90 or 100 or whatever you wanted to do there. The one in the middle here, again, is very similar, but it gives you the ability to put in, and not in a very pleasant order, because parameters don't are actually just put in alphabetically. I think there's a ticket here to tidy this up, but you can set a budget value for each month, a different number, and then the same would apply here in that you can specify, the billing center that you want to do this against. But this is just going to give you a report then of what your budget was versus what your actual spend is. There's no kind of alerting of, forecast being exceeded or budget being exceeded.